Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Instagram. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. I'm just going to wait for some of you guys to tune in. I have a really good topic. For whatever reason, I have been getting asked this a lot. So I wanted to talk about it. So I'm just going to let you guys just enter. If this is your first time joining one of my lives, definitely comment and let me know it's your first time so I can shout you out. And if this is not your first time, still comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I always like to know where my audience is tuning in from. So still comment. I am personally in Orlando, Florida. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ayesha Chidole. I'm an immigration attorney. I represent clients with their family immigration matter and humanitarian-based cases to the United States to get your green card or your citizenship. Your location doesn't matter. I take clients all over the United States, so it doesn't matter. And my phone number is 407-995-6567. And it's also scrolling through the ticker on Facebook and YouTube, and you can also see it in my profile on Instagram. Good morning, Real Zim from New York. Good morning, MK Cash Money from Brooklyn. I have a lot of New Yorkers in the house today. Good morning, Maria from Houston. Good morning, Akko E Big Boys from Indianapolis. You guys crack me up with all your names. But good morning, everybody. So let me just jump right into it. So today I want to talk about, the requirements and qualifications or types of abuse actually that men face. Actually, I'm going to focus on that. So the first question that I get asked all the time is, well, do men qualify because men can be abused too, blah, 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 blah. So the answer is absolutely. Very, very many of our clients are males. And a lot of times it's actually more difficult for men to actually see or acknowledge that what is happening to them is abuse. Hi, Fafo B from Orlando. Thank God, Leroy from Ohio. Sinead from Lake Mary. Oh, thanks for tuning in. And Sonia from Baltimore. Thank you for tuning in. What was I saying? I lost my train of thoughts. Okay, yeah. So I'm talking about men and VAWA. So the first thing is, and I've said this many times, even though the name VAWA means Violence Against Women's Act, this act also includes men. And I'm not really sure why they named it that. And maybe one day they'll change the name. But if you're a man and you're experiencing abuse from your spouse that's a US citizen or a green card holder, you can still qualify for this. If you're a male parent and you're experiencing abuse from your children that are over age of 21 and US citizens, you can still qualify for this. If you're a male child experiencing abuse from your US citizen or green card holder parent or step parent, you can still qualify for this. So being male does not exclude you. Just ignore the name. It doesn't exclude you. But what I really wanted to focus on today was what are some types of ways men can be abused and don't necessarily understand that that is abusive behavior or extremely cruel. Obviously, the most common two are going to be with financial and physical. And let me talk about that. We live in a society where it's not right, but there is a double standard where, if a male slapped a female, punched a female, he's going straight to jail. And if a woman does the same thing to a man, the man either is like, well, I'm a guy, I'm not going to call the cops, she punched me or she slapped me. And because I'm a guy, obviously I don't want to touch women because, I've been raised not to touch women, as you should not touch anybody for that matter. But that is abusive behavior. So even though you're a man, you don't have to accept that you're a punching bag. You don't have to be punched in the face and say, well, I'm a guy, so it's not abusive. I should take it. You don't have to take that. That's abusive behavior. Or Another way that men get abused is and by the way, for those of you just tuning in, definitely leave your comments in the comment box. Once I finish talking about all the examples, I will answer your questions, so feel free to answer them, and I'll give you all a shout out. I see all of you writing where you're from, so I will give you all a shout out. Okay, so as I was saying, let me pull my notes. So another way that men deal with abuse is finances, financial abuse. A lot of immigrants come from cultures where the norm is that the males are the breadwinner, or from third countries where the norm is that the women stay home and the men work, and bring home the bacon, if you would, or whatever it is. That being said, we live in America where it doesn't really matter. A couple is a couple. Whoever's bringing in the money is bringing in the money. So a lot of men struggle with women who are quote unquote gold diggers, or who I actually had an officer say this to me and my client once, a male client who we got approved based on abuse. What was said to him was, I have had women coming in here. They have their makeup done. They're wearing the latest designer bags, the Gucci belt, Gucci this, all of that. And I am just looking at the man in the interview. And you can tell this guy is working his behind off just to support that lifestyle, and just so that she will stay with him and he will get his green card. Okay. So this happens. So a lot of times, you might find a woman that understands that, about culturally, like this person's from a culture where they do this. So they're like, well, I'm not going to work. You're my husband. Take care of me. Figure it out. I want to get my hair done. I want to buy this car. We've had a client we've had people where, because they wanted a Range Rover and the spouse couldn't get that for them, all of a sudden that the spouse turned into a punching bag. So when you're dealing with a lot of financial abuse, you tend to find that men deal with that a lot. And a lot of times it takes a lot for them to realize that is extremely cruel behavior, where your spouse either tells you, forces you that you need to go work, you need to do more work, you need to pick up a double shift. You need to work from 4 a.m. to 12 a.m. at night because you need to pay the bills. Who's going to pay this bill? Who's going to pay this? I'm not going to pay the bill. So a lot of them do that because they think that, we're doing that because, I have to do it as my responsibility. But that is ways where people, are abusive. And then another way is that, sometimes if they have those men that are working and they're working under the table, like some of the women would threaten them, I'm going to call IRS, I'm going to tell them that you're working under the table, you're doing this, you're not paying taxes or whatever it is, or sometimes, they try to, sometimes, you have women who might be, and for my ladies here, I love y'all. This topic is just for men. So obviously there are things that men do for women. So let me point that out because I'm sure I'm going to have some annoyed person say, well, what about we women? So this topic is just for the men today, but I will touch on the women maybe tomorrow. So don't worry, you're not left out. So I'm just focusing on some of what I've seen and patterns I've seen in women who are abusive towards men, or even same-sex marriages and what they do. Another thing is a lot of times you find women who are very jealous of maybe their partner's physical attributes. And, maybe you have a husband that he loves going to the gym. He loves to work out. He loves to get his hair, what do you call it, faded or fresh or whatever it's called. Some women have a problem with this. They do not want the men to look good because they feel that if they look good, other women are going to want them. And if other women want them, then they will leave them. Another thing they do is that they will stop them from going to the gym, because if they go to the gym and they get buff and they get fit, they're going to leave them. Obviously this is part of their insecurity, but also you're stopping your spouse from being healthy. You're stopping your spouse from being healthy, because going to the gym is not about finding a new partner. It's about being healthy. And sometimes, with immigrants not having your paper, not having any ability to travel. Sometimes the only reprieve that some of these people get is going to go get that adrenaline from working out. So you depriving them of that because you're so afraid that some chick is going to find them at the gym and be like, oh my gosh, look at your muscles. It's abusive behavior. And then let's talk about verbal, like if you have spouses that are talking about you and your sexual performance, and how you are and comparing you to other men, comparing your size to other men, telling you that you can't do this, you can't do that, all those things affect people, from a psychological and an emotional standpoint. And, the reason why I want to talk about this today is because a lot of men don't talk about it. A lot of men compartmentalize, the pain that they're feeling because it's embarrassing. Like, who do you share with? I have had grown men crying, when they're talking to me about this, because I have to tell them this is a no judgment zone. There's absolutely nothing you can tell me that will shock me because we deal with this every day. But these things affect people, so it's not just women who are emotionally, when these things happen, it affects them emotionally. It affects men as well. It's just that culturally, a lot of immigrants come from countries where they have to be stoic and they have to be strong, and crying is a sign of weakness, or expressing your pain. So they bottle it up. And these people start having thoughts of suicide, and killing themselves, where we have to send them to a suicide hotline, or we have to send them to therapy and say, it's okay. Like, this is normal. This is not normal, and you shouldn't be afraid. Like, I will tell you this. I will have more women having friends that they've talked about all what they're going through with that can write a gazillion affidavits. You ask your male clients, they're like, I don't really talk about this. It's humiliating. Who am I going to tell them my wife is abusing me? Like, I'm going to look like a weak man, but, so that's why I want to talk about it. That you should not, one, you're not a weak person. You're just somebody who's actually strong enough to withhold yourself from being physical with a spouse that's being physical to you. That's number one. And number two, you don't have to accept that. Because it's culturally acceptable doesn't mean it's right. You shouldn't have, like, I can't even get into some of the atrocious things that some of my clients deal with, or people that I've consulted with deal with. But these are just some things. Another area is, other than, of course, we've talked about humiliation and stuff like that, just, in intimacy, in the intimacy department, a lot of times women will, will have sort of, a lot of times might have the power in terms of deciding whether or not, they're going to procreate or family planning. A lot of women will get on birth control or get off birth control and not let their spouse know. So they don't never really have a choice, right? They don't really have a say in what's happening. Or sometimes, they will withhold, intimacy, as a form of power, against the man, because, you're not, as a man, you're not going to force yourself on your wife because that is marital rape. But these women know that and will withhold it, as a way to show that they are more powerful or as a way to punish them, So anywho, obviously this list is very exhaustive, but I am just giving you guys, some ideas of things that, not some ideas, because these are not ideas, these are actually factual things that happen to men. And a lot of times they struggle with the realization that, wow, what is happening to me is actually not good. You guys can't imagine, like, I have had grown-ass men that cannot even be on the phone, where they're on the phone with me or in a consult, and their wives literally popping, who are you on the phone with? Get off the phone, and all expletives. It's really bad, and you're like, wow, this is terrible. So, I'm going to take y'all's questions and stuff and see what's going on here. So if you're a man, you definitely can qualify. We just need to see what's going on with your marriage, and I'll be able to let you know if you qualify. Good morning, Obi from Sacramento. Shanique, good morning from Orlando. I'm in Orlando as well, but again, I take clients all over the United States. Ebo, good morning from North Carolina. Louise, you have a blessed morning too. Roland said, good education. I'm a witness. Yes, I know. There's so many men that are dealing with the stuff, but we don't really talk about that, So I want to put that to light. Like, you don't have to suffer, because you're a man. You don't have to be like, I'm so strong. And yes, you can do that to me. I just can't do that, to her. Alaide says, hi, Asia, you always make my day. I'll send you a message on WhatsApp soon. Awesome. Thank you. Let me see what we've got on Instagram. Do you guys have any questions for me? Happy Child said, please save this video and upload it on your page. I will do that, definitely. Attorney Dina said, informative video. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Richie, IA24, what are you asking me about TPS? I'm not sure what your question is. Is it true I have to apply through the National Visa Center for my green card while I'm in England? Okay, so Richie, you were approved for your VAWA. Congratulations. So if you were approved for VAWA and you're not in the United States, yeah, you're going to have to do it through the National Visa Center. But there's actually some other steps and things that have to be determined before you apply. So, because I don't know what you submitted, whether you did the, usually there's an application that you submit based on an approval so that they can then send it to the National Visa Center, then fill out your application. And once you fill out the application, then they push it over to England. So I'm not really sure what stage you are, in the process. Deja said, good morning, my beautiful lawyer. Good morning to you too. Okay, so do you guys have any questions? You guys are very quiet today. Let me see. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Good morning. Roland says the women are now going to like you for this type of education. Well, I believe in equal opportunity. I'm a woman. Women face atrocious and horrific abuses every day, and I think that a lot of times, we talk a lot about the abuse that women experience, so much so that this law is actually named a women's law. And so because of that, men stay in the same abusive relationships and don't understand that what they're dealing with is just as bad as what the women are dealing with, but they don't think they qualify, and I get so many questions on my live and even in my DMs saying, I'm a guy, I'm dealing with this. Can I apply for this? So, so even though, today's topic is not necessarily, women focused, I'm very much pro women, but I'm also very much pro men, and I'm very much pro human rights and people being treated with basic dignity, so whether you're male or female or a child or a parent, you don't have to go through this. Chi Boo says, my marriage was abusive and I got a divorce. There was no police report and it's been more than a year. Can I apply for VAWA? Absolutely. You can definitely apply for VAWA. The requirement is that if you're divorced, you just need to make sure that you submit your VAWA application before the 2-year anniversary of your divorce. So the clock is ticking. So if it's been more than 1 year, I don't know how much further out, but you want to make sure you put in that application before the 2-year timeline expires. Okay. Smerlene says, good morning. How do I get my I-94 if I don't have my passport? Well, you can actually get your I-94 online, the I-94 website. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but just Google I-94, get my I-94, and it should pop up. But you still need your passport number to retrieve it. So you might not have your passport, but you need to know what your passport was, like the number. So maybe if you have any documents that might have your passport, just find it and enter that passport number to get it. Okay. Happy Child says, how long does VAWA process take? Honestly, but VAWA takes a long time. But do not be deterred by that, because it's worth it. Because here's the thing, if you submit a VAWA, when you get approved, you're not going to get a conditional green card. You're going to get a 10-year green card, and you're going to become eligible for citizenship once you've had that green card for 3 years. Most VAWA cases are taken between 2 years to 2.5 years for approval. So what they're doing, and they're doing this for a lot of cases, including the marriage-based cases, which are now taking just as long. By the way, because we just got an Orlando email from the field office right now. Marriage-based cases are taking like 13.5 months to almost 24 months, which is crazy, but again, a lot of this is because of COVID. So because of that, they're now giving out to certain types of cases, including marriage-based or VAWA-based, 2-year green cards and 2-year, not 2-year green cards, sorry, 2-year work permits and 2-year travel permits, just so you don't have to deal with the annoyance of renewing and renewing. Oh my goodness. Hold on one second, guys. My computer is about to shut off. Let me make sure it's plugged in. Okay, there we go. So you don't have to deal with that. So they're giving you 2-year while you wait. So 2-year, 2.5-year basically is your timeline of what you're looking at. Someone says, please, is it possible to use the extension letter for a green card to travel outside the US? Yes, absolutely. This is another misconception that we get. When you submit a removal of conditions on your green card, usually you will get, prior to 3 weeks ago, you would get an 18-month extension. Right now, they're giving 24 months extension. I need you to understand that that extension is your green card. That green paper you get is your green card. So, I've had a lot of people saying, oh, wait, so I'm still a green card holder. Oh, can I travel outside the country? Absolutely. You're still a green card holder. You can still travel out of the country like any other green card holder. You can still get a job like any other green card holder. The only time that I warn not to travel outside the country is if, let's say, you filed for removal of conditions and you got denied, and then they sent you into deportation proceedings, and then you're submitting a new conditional removal while you're waiting for that proceeding, because at that time, once you enter proceedings, just try to stay in the country, because you put yourself at a great risk. But if you don't have any removal proceeding, you're very much a green card holder and you can travel. Okay. Okay. So Carrie said, when I apply for VAWA, how long will it take for my daughter to join me in the States? So the answer really depends on, 1, how old your daughter is. 2, did she qualify and was listed as a derivative of you when you submitted your VAWA? But generally, after you get approved for VAWA, you have to still put in a new form. And that form is now saying to USCIS, please now start working on my daughter's case, transfer it right down. The wait time is long. So your daughter is probably looking at another 18 months at the very minimum, honestly, to come here, because they take like almost 12 months to do that transfer. And then when you get to National Visa Center, I think I froze on Instagram. Can you guys still see me? And then once it gets over to the National Visa Center, and she fills out whatever she needs to fill out, then they'll schedule her for an interview. So still looking at another 2 years, give or take, unless things move quickly. Okay, Shanique on YouTube says, can I use my spouse's driver's license to prove citizenship for my U.S. citizen spouse for his VAWA case? So you can, but there are other ways to prove citizenship. One of the things that we do is we request for USCIS to verify citizenship. We actually prepare a document that we have our clients sign with as much information as we have on the citizen, and then USCIS usually will verify it for us, because they know that a lot of abusers might not have the documents, or their spouses have seized the documents. Okay. Hello, beautiful. Paul says, I have a question. I do VAWA. I got an interview, then I got an RF, which I gave to them. I'm also a conditional removal. Upon getting my green card, can I file for citizenship? Yes, you can file for citizenship, because what you did was abused on the basis of, you're already, basically what you're saying, because I don't want to confuse people. Where I'm talking about VAWA today, I'm talking about people who don't have green cards. That being said, if you have a conditional green card, you can still file on the basis of abuse. But because you're already a green card holder, the likelihood is that if you get approved, you'll be eligible for citizenship right away, because again, you'll be under the same 3-year requirement. Okay, Carrie, you said she's 14. So yeah, so the timeline, so she's definitely going to be a derivative of you, and that's about the timeline, And whenever I give timelines, I always say, don't hold me to this, because this is just an estimate based on what the normal processing time is. But a lot of times, some things can, be done earlier, some things can be done later. I always hope that everybody's stuff is done earlier, but it's good to just know that, time is fluid. Mona Ray says, I love listening to your great information. Have a good day. Thank you. All my batteries are so low today. Like I'm about to lose my get off live. Okay, so do I have, if I have an immigration proceeding, can I use parole to travel? I would not. Um, yes, Richie. Richie on Instagram is saying who got his VAWA approved. Absolutely, you have to apply for the IA-24, and then once you apply for the IA-24, basically it's saying to act on an approved petition. So then that's the same thing that what's her name here is going to have to do. Carrie is going to have to do. So once you submit that, and that's what takes about 8 months. Once they approve that, they will send it over to the National Visa Center, and then they will send you a login to log in and complete your DS-260 and all that information about you coming here. So that's how that works. Let's see. Alida says, I don't believe, Roland, that some women would not like this. It has to be equal. Some women are abusive too. Absolutely. Both men and women can be abusive. And so it's important for men to also know that they have a safe space, Okay, guys. Okay, let me answer this last question and then I will jump off. What Happy Child on Instagram says, what restriction are on the parole on EAD? Can you travel to another country for a vacation? Okay, let me explain that to those of you who don't know. Basically, first of all, an EAD means employment authorization card, essentially work permit. It means exactly the same thing. And parole means travel permit, exactly the same thing. So what USCIS does most of the time, because sometimes they don't, but most of the time when you get, I was going to see if I had a copy of an employment agreement, employment document with me. But generally, if you apply for a travel permit and work permit at the same time, you will get a combination card. So your card will have your work permit, and on the bottom it would say, oh my God, this just disconnected me from Instagram. I'm so sorry, Instagrammers. You're gonna have to join me on Facebook. It just completely disconnected me. I don't know. Did I max out on my time on Instagram or what happened? I'm not really sure what happened. But as I was saying, so if you have that, you're eligible to travel outside the country as long as you're not in any kind of removal proceeding. I know a lot of times they put like the warning there, if you travel out of the country, there's no guarantee you can come back, blah, 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 blah. That is boilerplate, meaning that's just a standard language. But generally, if you came here in a visa or you're not in removal proceedings of any kind, please, if you need to travel, just don't travel for a long time, and the reason why you don't want to travel for a long time is because you don't want a situation where while you're out of the country, they call you for advanced for biometrics or call you for an interview and you're not able to come, especially with what happened with COVID and how people were stuck outside the country. Hopefully we don't have another crazy spike where they close the borders again, but basically try not to be out for more than like 2-3 weeks tops, honestly. Okay. Hey Omar, good morning. Thomas says, how many times can I travel with my travel permit while waiting on my green card? I don't know what you wrote on your travel permit, but I always write unlimited for my clients when I do their travel permit, because I want them to be able to travel as much as they need to. Okay. Okay, peeps. I have to go, but I enjoy chatting with you guys. I'll be back here tomorrow. Again, I come in somewhere between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. I do not want to commit to a time because I'm a mom as well as a business owner. So sometimes I'm not able to come on the exact time. So whenever, so I give you guys a range somewhere between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. I will be on live. If you want to know when I'm on live, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Make sure you're following me. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Give me the thumbs up. Let me know you like this video and you want to see more stuff like this. And also share this video. I know that a lot of men are dealing with this, and you know, nobody really focuses on them, on what's happening. So definitely share this video with men you know that are dealing with this. Okay. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Bye.